Yo, patriotism is under attack, and this time from a gutless leaker in the Pentagon.
Where common sense is still alive. You're watching Tater Thoughts.
2 days after our forces delivered a crushing blow to Iran's nuclear infrastructure, a rogue DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency analyst, leaked a preliminary damage report downplaying our success and risking American lives. Today, for the next 15 minutes, we're going to go deeper than ever before. The full story of Operation Midnight Hammer, the traitorous leak that followed, the ironclad penalties these leakers deserve, and why President Trump, since he does have the courage, must make an example of every last one of them. Let's dive in. On June 22nd and 23rd, U.S. Special Operations and Air Force assets executed Operation Midnight Hammer, 3 simultaneous strikes on Iran's top nuclear sites, Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. These facilities house advanced centrifuges, cascades capable of enriching uranium to weapons-grade levels. Intelligence intercepts showed Iran sprinting towards a bomb in under a year. Some said weeks. Why target all 3? Because Iran's network is built for resilience. If you take out Natanz, they spin up at Fordo. If you hit Fordo, they stash stockpiles in Isfahan. Midnight Hammer was surgical, bunker busting, traveling over 800 miles in B-2 bombers penetrating meters of reinforced concrete before detonating inside centrifuge halls.
Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
That's why morale was sky high. Analysts projected a 2 to 3 year setback. Battlefield intel experts argued Iran would be scrambling for at least 5. But then, boom, June 24, 2025, CNN, the Clinton News Network, and the New York Times, a leftist liberal rag, drop what they said a preliminary DIA report leaked by an anonymous analyst. Of course, they don't have the balls to come out. Its low confidence language claimed only a few months delay in their program. Suddenly, the narrative flips. Trump overhyped. Failure, mission collapse, all the other stuff that the leftist media does to Republicans. And Trump, he doesn't take it from them. Social media lit up. Mission failure, buzzed the left. Even some GOP defectors jumped on board because they're rhinos and they're feckless and they're spineless, parroting the leak. But ask yourself, why wouldn't intelligence pro-sabotage their own strike? The answer is politics. Here's a little timeline. June 22nd and 23rd, the strikes were carried out. June 23rd, in the PM in the afternoon or evening, the draft report was compiled. On the morning of the 24th, an unauthorized leak to media by a spineless little weenie deep state liberal. Big reason why we need to move all the Washington, D.C. out of Washington, D.C. Spread it across the country. So he leaks, or she leaks to the media, and by noon, headlines across every major outlet, every rag outlet. Under 18 U.S. Code, subsection 793 of the Espionage Act, willful transmission of national defense information carries up to 10 years per count. That's the baseline. Then 18 U.S. Code, section 1924 adds 5 years for unauthorized removal or retention of classified docs. So what do we got here? Espionage. The Espionage Act alone, 0 to 10 years per count. Then the document statute, 0 to 5 years plus fines. So sentencing guidelines often bump that higher. Yet in practice, sentences vary widely. Prosecutors offer plea deals, especially in D.C., amongst the D.C. courts, as we've known about the civil litigation. Counts get dropped, judges trim the time, leakers walk away with probation, and that must end. Congress must get involved, and Pam Bondi can say, hey, we're not taking plea deals. We've seen these swamp tactics before. Eric MJ, look up. Leaked. Chelsea Manning leaked 750,000 plus diplomatic cables and war logs, and I'm being nice by calling it Chelsea. Sentenced to 35 years under the Espionage Act, but commuted after 7 years by President Obama. Taught her a lesson. And she was military. Edward Snowden exposed the NSA surveillance program, fled to Russia, never faced the U.S. court. Reality Winner, remember that winner? Little liberal, leaked Russian election interference report, got 5 years, the longest sentence for a single leak. Jack Teixeira, some say Texiera, but Teixeira, in 2023, leaked to hundreds of current classified Pentagon docs. originally faced 10 plus years, ultimately got 15 years after prosecutors filed on the counts. And that was a reservist, I believe, military reservist. Notice the pattern? Real leverage comes only when the White House and the Department of Justice decide to show zero mercy. Reality winners 5 years pales compared to the damage to Shada's 15 years. That was a reaction to public outrage, not a default. That's why we need to bring the outrage again. So why have the past administrations folded? Why do presidents sign off on weak prosecutions? 3 reasons. Swamp protector mindset, fear of whistleblower backlash, and media pressure. Trump is scared of none of them. What is swamp protector mindset? Senior officials shield their colleagues, especially in the deep state. Whistleblower optics, politicians conflate leaks with whistleblowing, muddying the waters. And they're not. There's ways they can whistleblow. And then, of course, there's media pressure. The liberal outlets, especially when it's a Republican president, and especially Trump, which is weird because Trump takes them on all the time, scream transparency whenever leaks break. Obama's Department of Justice introduced a leniency memo in 2011. Trump's Attorney General Bill Barr rolled back parts, but still offered plea deals in many cases. Biden inherited that framework and continued it, so the swamp stays fed. This is where Pam Bondi came in and is going to change everything. Leakers aren't just bureaucratic rats. They're single-handedly tipping our hands to adversaries. They demoralize intelligence professionals and incentivize spies in Tehran, Beijing, Moscow, not to mention North Korea. Every unauthorized disclosure emboldens hostile actors to probe our U.S. weaknesses. They already know. Don't tell us anything. If you're an ally, they're scared to death to tell us anything because we always have leakers. And this is where Bondi has came in and started prosecuting. A single leak can unravel months of preparation, costing lives. Morale tanks when analysts fear their own side will crucify them for telling the full story. President Trump showed in 2017 to 2021 he's willing to break the norms. Now, to crush leak culture, he needs a 3-pronged strategy on day one or since day one of this term. Obviously, an executive order directing the Attorney General to pursue maximum counts and maximum sentences under the Espionage Act. No plea bargains without presidential sign-off. Special security prosecutor and independent counsel reporting directly to the White House, immune to Department of Justice internal politics. I don't think he really needs that because Pam Bondi is not going to take crap. And over at the FBI, you got Kash Patel and you got Dan Bongino. Swift discipline, immediate suspension of any official under leak investigation, public announcement charges within 30 days. Pair that with an aggressive public messaging campaign. Leakers are traitors. You will face decades in prison. Make the cost of betrayal crystal clear. MAGA Nation, this is our fight. We can't stand by while Washington elites sabotage our military. The deep state sabotages this administration. Woke federal judicial judges delay the policies of this administration. And here's how we can do it. We need to start standing up. I don't care if you have the most woke Democrat politician as your representative. Demand support for a bill that will impose mandatory minimum sentences, like an HR bill called Leak No More Act. Donate. Fuel the Trump campaign and ensure we got the will and the votes to act. Share this video. Let every patriot know we demand accountability. MAGA Nation, we need to stand up. If you knew me before this term, I was not a MAGA person. I obviously went for Trump over Hillary Clinton, but I think he's doing an excellent job this term. I am full throat MAGA now. Do I agree with everything? No. Do I agree with most of it? Yep. When that man took a bullet and didn't whine and got up and said, fight, 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 I was on his side. I knew he was the real deal. I knew right then. And then when he won that election, he didn't go on a bunch of victory tours. He hunkered down at Mar-a-Lago and picked his cabinet and went through and got executive orders ready. This guy means serious business this time. So what we just did was a full picture, a historic strike, a shameful leak, and the roadmap for a president who doesn't back down. If you agree it's time to end this leak culture once and for all, hit this like button. Subscribe for more hard-hitting analysis. Ring the bell so you never miss a call to action. Drop a comment. What penalty would make you sleep better at night? I'll be reading them all, and I might even respond to some of them in a future video. In the end, stay fierce, stay free. This has been Tater's Thought.